Again, this is Ajahn Vayama, the founding abbess of Dhammasara Nuns Monastery in Western Australia, not far from Perth. She's going to be giving our first keynote address. I'd like to welcome her. Thank her for being here.
Venerable Sangha, friends in the Dharma, I'd like to begin my talk by acknowledging the traditional owners of this land, the Aboriginal people, and to welcome all beings to be present at this auspicious occasion. I've been asked to give this keynote address in the absence of Venerable Chikwang Sunim, who is I understand, the most senior Australian-born Bhikkhuni. She's unable to be here because of illness, and so I've been invited to give this address, even though I'm not a Bhikkhuni, but I'm Australian-born and of long standing in the Sangha. The fact that we're meeting together is quite wonderful, but it's also quite incredible, because even a few years ago it was unthinkable that we would be able to gather together and realistically work towards having a Bhikkhuni ordination in the Theravada tradition held in Australia. At the Australian Sangha Association meeting 2 years ago, some of the venerables in this tradition made it clear that they considered it a closed issue. And I think if we consider how far we've come in a few years, it's quite remarkable. And I'd like to just mention Venerable Chikwang Sunim's history and how it connects with mine, and just to give some sort of context for where we are right now. She and I both started our deeper contact with Dharma training at Wat Buddha Dharma with Prakantipalo and Ayakema. And Chikwang Sunim was there several years before I was. But her experience is quite typical, that at that time, 30 years ago, she had to not only leave Australia to receive ordination and training, but she also had to leave the tradition that she had started in. She had to move from the Theravada tradition into the Korean tradition. And that's the tradition which she is ordained in and has remained in. For myself, I was fortunate to have the guidance and opportunity made available for me by Prakantipalo and Venerable Ayakema to practice in Australia and then to ordain in Sri Lanka. And I lived in Sri Lanka for 10 years after my ordination before coming back to Australia, and actually came and spent a vasa here in 1997 before it was Santi Monastery. And then I was invited to go to Western Australia to work with the Buddhist Society of Western Australia under the spiritual direction of Ajahn Vayama, and with his complete support, to establish Dhammasara Nuns Monastery, which is a community of women who wish to undertake the training for ordination as 10 precept nuns, because in 1998, when we started out, that was really what was realistically available. I think it's quite significant that in the beginning, when we were trying to establish some training and entry to the Dharma here in Australia, Prakantipalo, together with